Hello and welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. The American Cancer Society's signature fundraising event is the Relay for Life. Currently, Lynchburg is preparing for our local Relay for Life. My guests tonight are Blair Wade, specialist with Relay for Life South Atlantic Division of the American Cancer Society Incorporated, right? And Beth Wells, who's the Lynchburg Relay for Life event chair. Welcome to Lynchburg Live.
Thank you.
You know, as we get started, I can't imagine that there's anybody who does not know what the Relay for Life is. But on that off chance that we have somebody watching who really doesn't know, could you sort of tell our audience what it is?
Sure. It is the American Cancer Society's premier fundraiser. It's overnight at Heritage High School. We fundraise all year long and, you know, working to battle cancer and just to wage war, I guess is the best way to put it. We have teams that come together that set up campsites at our actual event, and then it's like the community's biggest party to celebrate our survivors, to remember and honor those that have been touched, and then also continue the fight, so re-energize for the next year.
Right. You know, I just think it's such a wonderful event. Now, it's not just here in the United States. This is an international event. Is that true?
Yes.
And people are doing relays all throughout the year. It's not just in the summer or spring.
Correct. Our main concentration is at the spring and summer months, but there are relays that happen year-round.
Blair, what is your job, your position with this? What do you do?
My position with the American Cancer Society is I'm a Relay for Life specialist, and my concentration is the Lynchburg area. So I offer support to my volunteers, give them whatever they need from the American Cancer Society, and yeah, I'm the liaison.
That's cool. How about you, Beth?
So my role is basically to herd a bunch of volunteers and to energize some folks that want to participate. So as event chair, I've got my hands in all the logistics, so everything from recruiting to retaining teams, recruiting survivors and caregivers, encouraging fundraising, helping to set goals, mentoring teams to get there, down to the logistics of it, so helping to establish a place, making sure the right speakers are in place, the entertainment is in place. We have a fabulous survivor reception. So all the pieces, I have a fabulous committee that I often say makes me look good. And, you know, I'm just, you know, basically their point person to make sure it's all pulled together and it is a seamless execution of this party on May 30th.
And how long have you been involved?
Oh, goodness. I have been involved with Relay either as a participant or on the committee since, let's see, probably 1997 in Lynchburg.
How about you, Blair?
Since 2007.
You know, I know that most of us who are involved with the relay have sort of a personal involvement or have a personal reason for being involved. Do either of you, or do you just feel dedicated to this?
Yeah, I originally became involved because my daughter was young and there was a close network of friends, and one of their mothers was diagnosed with cancer. And originally we came together, and my first team was Donna's Dream Angels, and we came together and participated in the Lynchburg Relay in her honor. By the second year, she had lost her battle to cancer, and we just, you know, maintained that level of involvement. Not a huge passion necessarily, but we stayed involved. And then in 2000, I lost, you know, who I consider my absolute best friend, my grandmother, to multiple myeloma, and at that point, it you know, touched me so overwhelmingly that I felt that even though she could no longer fight it,
right,
it was time for me to fight it. And so I relay in her memory, and, you know, every decision, everything that we do at Relay, you know, I stop and think, would she be excited about this? Right. And so that's my reason for relaying.
How about you?
I relay for my grandfather. he's been my dad my whole life, and he was diagnosed with skin cancer about 10 years ago. They got that treated and under control, and then was recently re-diagnosed with lung cancer. So I relay for him, and so other people don't have to go through that.
I think it's a real personal thing. With the majority of people who get out there, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I knew about Relay. I donated to Relay until this happened to me, and then I felt so personally victimized by this disease, and wanting to get out there and do something, to make it easier for people who are coming along behind me going through this. So, I just know that that's a good reason for so many people. And you just said it, but say again who Relay for Life honors.
It's for our cancer survivors.
Yep.
And for the people that have lost their battle and they're still going through their battle.
Right, and tell me when, again, is the Relay for Lynchburg? You had just said that too, but I want to make sure that everybody knows when and where.
So Relay for Life of Lynchburg is at Heritage High School on the track. It is May 30th. It starts at 7 p.m. on that Friday, and we are going to party all night long until 6 a.m. Saturday morning of the 31st.
And my favorite question is, why does the Relay go on all night long?
Great question. I've got a good answer for that.
I think you do.
Cancer doesn't sleep.
Right.
Cancer never sleeps, so why should we?
Exactly.
It's, we have some people, we have some relays that cut off at, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I think about how many sleepless nights that cancer survivor has when they are sick, they're up, they are worrying about their loved ones. Right. Why should I sleep? One night out of 365, why should I sleep when they may not be able to sleep the entire year? So that's why I believe there probably is a more formal answer from the American Cancer Society, but that works for me.
I think that's the best answer. You could throw a bunch of fancy words in there, but that's to the point.
I think so. I mean, I agree with you. Now, do you all actually, how long does it take you to pull this Lynchburg Relay together?
So, Blair and I will probably work year-round. After our event, we tend to give our committee about a month off before we start re-engaging them again. But the relay season kicks off September 1st, and officially kicks off with the American Cancer Society September 1st, and then goes through August 31st. So we will still be in the 2014 relay season until August 31st of this year.
Now, you have regular planning meetings, don't you? And can anybody attend? Or is it posted when you'll be having them, or word of mouth?
So currently we meet the third Thursday of every month at the Pearson Cancer Center. At 5:45 we have a committee meeting. We can never have enough volunteers, so if someone is interested in coming along and joining us, we're not going to turn them away, and we'll probably encourage them to bring a friend or two. And then we have our team rally at 7 o'clock, and that is just a 1-hour meeting to feed our team captains or participants that want to come. So we feed them in the way of giving them tools to help them fundraise, giving them motivation, so sharing stories with them, sharing the mission of the American Cancer Society. So we do that every month, beginning we go October and November, and then it's January until our relay, and then we have a wrap-up party after our event.
How many different teams do you have participating this year?
Currently, we have 97 registered.
Wonderful. I mean, that sounds wonderful to me.
It is wonderful, but let me tell you, I have a big goal of 145, so we can always use, a lot more. We're not going to turn a team away, and realistically, we think we're going to get to 125.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, how many people make up a team? Or is there a certain amount?
Ideally, a team's going to be about 8 to 15 people. If you start exceeding 15 people, we ask you to register a second team. And that's more for the relay experience than anything. Right. So you think about, you have this small campsite there at the track, and if you try to cram 40 people in that small, the relay experience is going to be very bad. So as you start exceeding, as a team captain starts exceeding 15 team members, we ask that they establish a second team so they can get that second campsite side by side that expands the the room.
That's great.
But we want to make sure that we are very conscious of that relay experience so that we keep the teams coming back.
How do your teams pick their names?
I think that's a personal decision. So it may center around why they relay. It could center around the theme for the year. It may be their employer's name. You know, it's a wide variety of things, but I think that, you know, whatever they choose, there's thought behind it and it's very personal to them.
Now, each team attempts to raise a certain amount of money. Do you have a goal?
An overall event goal?
An event goal.
We sure do. It's $275,000.
Do you know how close you are at this point?
Well, we laugh and we always call the Lynchburg event Late Lynchburg because we do have teams that have done this for a very long time. So, you know, we say they sandbag their money and they hold it, and they don't want people to know how much they've raised because they get very competitive about being in that top spot. So right now, according to our website, we have banked about $70,000.
Wonderful.
We have several corporate sponsors that we're waiting on their dollars to come in, and we know that there are several teams that are sandbagging their money so that their rival teams don't know. Yeah.
Well, okay, what are some of these teams, individual teams, doing to raise funds? I know that they get very creative.
Oh, yes. Some of the fundraisers I've been to, a lot of them do lunches at work, charge $5. Somebody cooks lunch, they come, they eat. Some bake sales. We're actually going to a turkey and bow shoot for one of our teams in Amherst. That's a fun one.
Golf tournaments.
Lots of golf tournaments.
Lots and lots of golf tournaments. Car washes, yard sales, barbecues. You think about all the direct sales companies out there and individuals.
Oh, yes.
So they're hosting those parties and working with the different direct sales associates to get proceeds back from that. Proceeds night, so like Sweet Frog and some of the others have escaped me right now, but they do proceeds nights for us. You know, we encourage people to go in and they mention relay and we get a certain percentage back. So the teams that fundraise year round tend to bring in the most money, but we encourage every team to set a goal of no less than 1,000.
That's great. So local merchants and vendors do participate by helping you out, and
absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely. So that's, you know, our corporate sponsorships are foundational for us. If they didn't partner with us, not only do we have the corporate dollars, but we have teams from them. So we think Genworth Financial has been a long time presenting sponsor. They also provide 2 teams, B&W, Arriva, Centra. They all give us financial dollars.
that's wonderful.
But they're also giving us teams and participation of volunteers, which is huge.
You know, I think as more and more people are touched by cancer, and there's hardly anybody that you meet who's not touched by it through a family member or a good friend, something like that, more and more people are probably willing to donate because of having that personal experience with it or with a family member. All right, for anybody who's never been to a relay, could you just sort of walk us through quickly what happens from the time you go on site on relay day until the next morning?
So the committee goes on site about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we are just setting up the logistical pieces of the relay. So stage, sound, registration, marking campsites, preparing for vendors to come in, things like that. Our teams start rolling in probably around noon and after, setting up their individual campsites, preparing for the masses. At 4:30, we start doing some registration of survivors, getting them all checked in. And by 5 o'clock, that's when it really starts rolling for us because we have a survivor reception. And that's held in the cafeteria at Heritage. It's a fabulous dinner that for years has been provided by Olive Garden.
I mean, it's just a wonderful thing. I think to be recognized as a survivor and to be given this meal is, you know, we go every year, and I do appreciate the fact that we're honored that way.
Well, not only do they provide the food, but they provide the staff to serve it, which is, I mean, a huge partnership with us. So our volunteers can focus on the feel-good part of it without having to worry about serving the food. But we've got some extra surprises for our survivors this year, so I'll be excited to get your feedback on it.
Okay.
Then at 7 o'clock, we kick off with our opening ceremonies. Genworth Financial, again, is a presenting sponsor, so we'll have some opening remarks from leadership there. And it'll kick right into our survivors lap, which is one of my favorite pieces to watch the survivors take the track, and followed by a caregivers lap, and then a team captain lap, a committee lap, and then an all participant lap. After that's when everything kicks into full swing. We've got our children's activities, we've got bands on the stage. Rolling into about 9:15, we'll have our Luminaria ceremony, and for most people that's the absolute favorite, where we line the track with bags and torches to honor and remember those that we love, the reason that we're there. And we also have the video memorial. The fire department is bringing their bagpipers again, which is always a favorite by our attendees. And then after that, we know that it's such an emotional piece. We try to bring it up, and we have our Miss Big Daddy Relay pageant. So if we know any contestants that would like to participate, we can always use a few more. So it's a womenless pageant there.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
Is this when the guys dress up like women?
Yes.
We have some pictures I think you sent me of that.
I did. So that's always a highlight, and such a fun time to bring the crowd back up. We crown our winner based on money raised. So they have to work the track and raise the money to earn that crown. We crown them shortly after midnight. We have activities throughout the night that keep all the participants, committee, everyone energized and focused. And then we roll into 6 o'clock in the morning when we have our fight back ceremony our closing ceremony.
You all have brought some pictures, and we're going to ask Phil to put them up on the monitor and get these girls to tell us what they are.
So this is just a child from years past that was participating in the children's lap, and just love the balloon art there from a clown that we had that year.
I think it's good that children participate.
Yeah, so this is a committee from years ago, so several of those people are still on the committee, but that was the committee taking their lap, and you see we have several survivors that were on the committee. You can identify them by the different color t-shirt. So this is one of our committee members with one of the favorite shirts. Ask me how you can be a hero. So this represents the Luminaria ceremony. As you can see, the bags are there. And, this one I thought was especially touching, where you just see the child so focused on that bag. And, you're never too young to introduce someone to relay. And, this is what it's about. That right there is the future of our relay.
One of the things I noticed about the Luminaria ceremony is you can have 1,000 people on site, and when that happens, you cannot hear a pin drop.
No.
Everybody gets very respectful and very quiet, and I think that's something very special.
Yeah. So these are the bagpipers from the fire department. Again, a highlight for the folks at our relay. When we get the most feedback about them, we love them, we want them back, and year after year they are so gracious to accommodate us and be there for us to help remember and honor our survivors. So this is actually hope on the bleachers. You can't hardly read it, but we put luminarias on the bleachers on the side of the track that indicate hope, and it's part of our Luminaria ceremony. And then during the ceremony, most people don't notice the transformation, but by the end of the ceremony it says cure. Yeah. So Miss Big Daddy Relay, this comes after our Luminaria ceremony. This happens to be Paul King, one of my committee members who actually participated several years ago. And you can see he's working the track, trying to earn his keep.
I think it's cool that they do this, that they're willing to do this to raise money for this.
We've had men shave their legs and really
enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it. And just to see them go all out is always entertaining. So this is the parade of contestants from one year.
Some of them look Very good.
Isn't it scary that some of their makeup is better than mine? But yeah, this is the parade of contestants. And again, so I brought this one because this was actually Shanae. Shanae was a high school student who was committed to win this pageant year after year after year. And I think it took him 3 or 4 years to earn it. The interesting thing is that he's now graduated. He's going to college, close to the coast in Virginia. And he is coming back to be our MC this year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He is majoring in theater and has an absolute love and passion. He gets relay, and he'll be back this year to entertain us, but not as Shanae, as Brandon. So this is just pictures from the Survivor's Lab. And you can see that kids are walking with their survivor. You have survivors in wheelchairs. You have, several on a golf cart because they couldn't make it around. But the thing that is overwhelming is you see the people on the edge of the track just applauding them, wanting so much just to let them feel the love. Again, a highlight of our relay. And this is the kickoff with the Survivor Lab. These are 3 of our survivors and then additional survivors carrying the sails. And this will happen shortly after 7 on Friday. Again, this is more survivors.
I can't tell you how it feels to walk in that Survivor's Lab. It's just a very special feeling, and to be there with other people who have gone through the same thing you've gone through. It just, it's a sharing type thing that I think is very special.
This year we're going to work really hard to also honor our caregivers. I mean, we've done so in the past, but again, we know that our survivors want to honor their caregiver. We want to honor the caregiver, and so we are constantly looking for ways to do that and not overshadow our survivor.
Well, I just think it's a wonderful event. Now, I understand that the funds that are raised stay in the area in which they're raised. Is that true? Mostly?
All of our funds go to our corporate center in Atlanta, and that's for all our relays. And then they're distributed to the local areas so that we can provide the free services that we do to our patients if they come into our offices and they would like a wig. We give that to them at no cost. We provide rides if they need to their treatments. They need to go every day, every week, we take them, no cost.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, for people, you have no idea what it means to someone who can't afford a wig to be able to feel like themselves by wearing a wig and to know that they don't have to fork out a lot of money and that somebody's there to help them. I just think it's special.
I think another piece too is that this money goes to staff, a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year call center, to where if someone gets that diagnosis and they are just so overwhelmed and they don't want to burden their family with questions, or their family member has questions, they can pick up the phone and call this 800 number, and there is a trained individual to help them, walk them through different options, talk to them about their diagnosis, and just be that support when they just don't know where to turn.
I think that's wonderful because you're so overwhelmed when you're in the doctor's office and you walk out and you have a million questions that you just didn't think to ask. This is a wonderful service, I think. All right. Now, do teams have individual websites for getting donations?
So when they register, they are given a portal on our event website. So teams and individuals do have a means to reach out electronically to receive donations.
Now, if someone's interested in donating, how would they go about it?
They could visit www.relayforlife.org/LynchburgVA to donate online, or they can visit the local American Cancer Society office on Langhorne Road.
And if they want to honor someone at the relay with a luminaria or some similar thing?
Those are available online.
Okay.
As well as at the event. So
and if you want to come by the office, we're more than happy to have you.
Yep.
All right, now being involved with the Relay for Life is a very time-consuming thing and a very giving thing. What has it meant to both of you personally to be involved with this?
So, for me, it's all about the fight. My grandmother didn't win her fight, and so if I can prevent one of my 3 children from hearing the words "you have cancer,"
Exactly.
then the time is irrelevant. For me, it's a family thing. So my husband participates, my children
Great.
participate. We do it together, so that we can fight back against the disease.
How about you?
I think it's all about hope that one day there won't be cancer and there will be a cure.
I agree with you. I think that, it would be wonderful if that could happen in our lifetime.
It would be fantastic. I could go find me another job.
I thank you both for being here. I just think that the Relay for Life is one of the most special things that happens in this area during the year. Thank you for being on the
Thank
show,
you.
and we'll
Thank
see
you.
you at the Relay.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show and will plan to be a participant in this year's Relay for Life. We joined together for this event to show that we are bigger than cancer. My next show will feature the Civil Air Patrol. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.